afternoon, everybody. Welcome and thank you for joining us today to talk about artificial intelligence in planning. Today, we cut through the hype and focus on how AI is delivering real impact in finance, improving your forecasting accuracy, strengthening revenue planning, and turning data into actionable decisions. We'll also cover the foundations that matter, a robust data management, governance, and security, plus how emerging AI agents are automating workflows so finance teams can focus on strategy. So expect practical use cases and the clear next steps you can apply immediately. I want to welcome now Jason Reed from our team. Please take it away, Jason.
As Henner said, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining from today. My name is Jason Reed, and I'm the Director of Customer Success at SimpleFi. And probably I sometimes call myself the de facto product champion in terms of planning and business consolidations with Planify or with SimpleFi. I spent 18 years with SAP before I joined SimpleFi, most of it within the business planning and consolidation space with BPC, with SAP Analytics Cloud, and have been through SAP's on-premise to cloud transformation, and now to go through SAP's transformation into being supplying artificial intelligence tools across their entire product landscape as well. We're going to cover off a lot of topics today. The reality is that in another 3 months, we will probably have another one of these sessions, and there will be changes that will be updated during that time as well. This is a very dynamic space right now. There's a lot of things happening both in SAP and in the marketplace in general. So please keep tuned as we keep you up to date with what is exactly happening around AI and as it relates to business planning. So we're going to cover off again, what is AI? How do we use AI? The importance of data governance and data management, and certainly getting into a lot of the details about, what are the tools that SAP and SimpleFi will be bringing to the table and have brought to the table with respect to AI, and a little bit about certainly the timing and release of some of this information as well. To start off with, I think if you certainly listen to any news or read anything about the technologies that are coming through these days, certainly AI is something that's on everybody's radar. The screen that the chart that I brought up here right now represents that AI in reality is not something new per se, and we can go back. I think the 1662 representation is probably the introduction of math or algebra within humankind. So again, what we'll cover today is what is AI and what is generative AI, and how these things are different, but how they're really all under this AI bubble. Again, to speak to what is AI, there's a lot of different terminologies out there. I'm sure you've heard of, machine learning. You've heard about neural networks. You've heard of generative AI. You've heard of agents. In reality, they're all underneath the AI umbrella. And certainly, things like rule-based logic, if then else could be considered a component of AI. It really comes down to really how do you align all of the data that exists out there with ways to go ahead and analyze that data and bring additional value and actually generate data, not just analysis, based upon the information that you have. So today, how are we using it? Many of us, of course, we're using it today without even really thinking about it in many ways. Certainly, there's the everyday assistants that we're using, whether it's Alexa or Siri or ChatGPT. They're often associated with, the voice assistants or smart searches and so on. Even things like Google Maps rerouting in real time. AI in the background is what we do use to make our lives easier. Again, whether it's shopping, whether it's travel and, flight predictions and Google Maps and Google Flights. Again, they're all underneath that particular umbrella. And of course, there's always that big AI sci-fi robot view that, yes, it is, we've all heard about the Terminator movies, we're all seeing the Terminator movies, where AI is going to rise up and take over the world, which of course I think my mother-in-law still believes is a possibility. So there's a lot of different opinions out there, and there's a lot of different views of what AI is, but in reality we are using it. And as we go deeper today, you will see how we are using AI to address the issue of not just being reactive in terms of our planning processes and life cycles, but being proactive, and how we can get that out of the tools that we have. So one of the questions I do get asked sometimes is, I hear so much about AI, and I haven't haven't seen perhaps a ton of it within my daily life any different than what the normal tools I use. And the question I ask is there an AI bubble? I think in the reality, the field itself and the tools that are coming, there is not a fad in that way. The long-term impact is real, and there probably is some inflated valuations right now related to the whole AI bubble. But in many ways, AI is also a catalyst for other digital transformation programs that are occurring in your organizations and in customer organizations. And certainly data management being a core part of that as well. So is it a bubble? No. Are there certain bubbly parts to it? I'm sure there is. But again, the field is very important, and the tools that it can bring to the table today and will be brought to the table over the next 18 months to 2 years will change how you're doing your business. One of the things that often gets skipped is that a data strategy is something that's very important to your AI strategy, or to what AI can bring you. When you look at generative AI, the production and use of data, where it generates data, not just analysis, a lot of that depends on AI models that are trained to, again, understand the underlying components of that data. And so having a clear underlying data model and a data foundation and clean data, it really will help ensure that trustworthiness of the results that are generated in using AI tools. Certainly there have been predictive capabilities in SAP Analytics Cloud, for example, for quite some time, several years. But there are still customers that are anxious about the results, again, either worried about what the data has in it itself, or again, just becoming used to allowing a machine to go ahead and give you some insights into what the future could be, or what should happen. And of course, there's all issues related to protecting data, personal data on the systems, and really making AI sustainable across the entire organization really depends on data quality, trustworthiness, and certainly the integrity of that data over a long period of time. So having a data strategy is a very important part of the tools that are available and will become available to drive your additional planning capabilities. One thing that I'll bring up right away around that entire data strategy concept is that SAP and Databricks have entered into a very powerful relationship. SAP has a lot of the underlying business applications, and SAP has a lot of additional data warehouse tools that can really help drive that data management strategy that you might have. Now, in the relationship with Databricks, they are also now getting additional lakehouse architecture capabilities. They're getting additional machine learning and generative AI capabilities. So in the future, many of the tools that you will see will be both coming from using SAP and Joule and other aspects of SAP to drive AI capabilities, but it's also going to come from the relationship that SAP has with Databricks and the tools that are available there. I mean, I think in the end, again, yes, together SAP and Databricks are going to provide enhanced AI capabilities, and underlying all that is basically faster insights, automation, and innovation. Now, let's start drilling into the details around this. First of all, how does SAP and SimpleFi address these challenges and opportunities? Well, one of the things I'd like to point out is that we talk about generative AI and the importance of models and training those models and understanding the structures of those models to allow us to build tools on top of them. Well, SimpleFi has a sister organization called Planify, which is basically our product and content capabilities. And what is it? It is really a collection of models, calculations, functionality, workflow that we are and will build agents out on top of to drive additional planning functionality and capabilities. So again, when we take a look at the big picture here, SAP many years ago decided they are going to become a cloud-based company, and I was with SAP at that time. And what do you know? SAP became a cloud-based company everywhere now in the organization, whether it's supply chain, whether it's your ERP, whether it's modules in ERP for spend management, whatever it might be, all of them have the ability to be run in the cloud. And the same thing is happening around AI. SAP will become and is becoming an AI company. I'm going to talk about capabilities today around planning, but there are a lot of capabilities already been built into SuccessFactors, Concur, S4, ERP, again, built out, today using AI and using, tools like Joule to go ahead and deliver these capabilities. So again, when we talk about AI, we're certainly going to be focusing today on planning and consolidations capabilities. But beyond that, SAP is integrating AI across its entire landscape. So again, using the foundational tools like Joule, building out knowledge graphs within existing tools, and then with these underlying tools, integrating them with business data cloud capabilities, finance, spend management, customer management, and then of course creating a platform that non-SAP applications and SAP applications work together to drive a lot of that AI capability. One of the things that we want to talk about here today is the future of AI within planning and analytics, or the future of planning and analytics, being powered by AI, will in many ways become seamless to users out there. When you're inside of an input form and you're inputting your budgets, there will be an AI budget that there will be an AI agent that you can use then not only to analyze, but also to enter data. You might want to go ahead and say, based upon this previous quarter, if my new forecast is X% less than what it was in the previous, add 5% and do the data entry based upon that. And that conversational AI capability will permeate across not just the user, the end user doing the budgeting and forecasting capabilities, but it also will be built into personas in the organization that support your applications, your IT administrators, your finance administrators. So again, not just looking at the data and analyzing how much is my revenue in this particular quarter for this product, and not only creating and doing budget entry based upon using a planning agent, but also the development of calculations, the development of the background, the configuration required to support your implementations are also being affected by AI. So I can now, for example, many of you who on the phone who are using SAP Analytics Cloud, I can pretty much say without any doubt that you have data actions inside of your implementation. Basically, there are calculations that apply, that you can apply to do things like my revenue is based upon product times number of units sold, for example. Well, these data actions really are scripting environments where I build out the script. Well, now AI has capabilities, or SAP has built-in capabilities that I can basically write like a natural query language script, set of comments, and then from that comments automatically generate script. So this might not be something for the end, for the end user doing the data entry, but from an overall persona perspective, there are many people, there are many people in the organization who do perform these functions, and the ability to speed up and in many ways perhaps change the persona capabilities out there. It is changing, the entire landscape of the environment, not just that end user view of doing analysis or doing data entry. So again, to that point, I probably jumped a little bit ahead of myself here. Really, all levels of planning and analytics users can benefit from AI. Again, accessing agents, being able to analyze data, understanding my workflows, but also drill that down through into business analysts and planners, and also now down into IT users, and in many cases, even allowing some other levels of the persona in the organizations to have access to these tools to build out additional, analysis capabilities. So again, when we take a look at infusing AI for planning and analytics across the entire space, which is now the BDC, or the Business Data Cloud capabilities, there are many already existing AI features that are there, whether they're time series forecasting, predictive scenarios, smart predict. These tools are there, and they do provide analytical understanding, and they go and look at the data and provide you information. And these will be continued to be invested in. Just Ask, it's been out now for quite some time. The ability using a natural query language to, again, ask questions such as, show me my revenue by product, by region, and put it into this type of a chart. Again, making it very easy for people who don't necessarily have, perhaps, script building capabilities, but the ability to very quickly in natural query language produce their charts and reports. And now we're going further and further into things like AI assisted features. Again, as I just said, being able to generate scripts, being able to generate calculations just by inputting in a natural language structure what I want to do, and then having the system generate the script accordingly. So low code or no code, as they say, with respect to these features and capabilities. Now, Joule, and we're going to talk about Joule in more detail here. Joule is a large umbrella of capabilities, build functionality, cockpit tools, and it will also be included in the ability to generate agents who will be interacting with users in their daily, product planning and product lifecycle structures. Joule has been used extensively across the SAP landscape. It has been a little bit slower on the BDC implementations or integration side. And in my discussions with SAP product owners and product management people, some of that came down to not only structuring Joule and creating what's required in Joule, but also on the back end of that, actually adjusting and having to update things within SAP Analytics Cloud and DataSphere in order to support Joule as well. So it was a two-way streak, and some of that, I think, taking perhaps a little bit longer than I think we thought was going to happen, is because of the amount of work and the importance of getting this right in terms of delivering these capabilities to customers. Again, AI features that have been around, they're already smart insights, predictive planning, smart predict. These are capabilities that are there, and they're, they're machine learning functions that customers are using today. And they are helping drive and helping move customers from what just happened into what should happen and what could happen. So additional things, again, I'm not going to get into a lot of additional detail here with respect to smart insights, but the ability to very easily click, go into the data, analyze the information, what's changed, how it's changed, deliver me a chart based upon that information. These are tools that are there. They are in context business insights for business users. And these are powerful tools that are there and being used today. The same thing, predictive planning. We have lots of customers who are using predictive planning capabilities more and more, being able to look at information from a time series forecast, look at historical information, and using the historical data help generate and predict forecasts based upon historical data, and in many cases very, very accurately, even compared to long time processes of doing data entry and doing forecasting in our customers' organizations. So continuing on, Smart Predict as well, another series of capabilities to go ahead and drive revenue estimates or drive forecast and revenue for products. Again, smart, trusted, actionable predictions without the need perhaps of a data scientist. We're not trying to get rid of data scientists by any means, but the ability to bring that capability more to end users and upfront in that planning life cycle, a very important part of the process. So again, time series forecasting, I talked a little bit about that. Again, being able to predict the future based upon historical data. And certainly, moving forward, these features are continued to be invested in. Smart Insights now supports DataSphere live models. Smart Insights is available in the optimized stories. All of these things continue to be invested in and are going to continue to be, new functionality, new capabilities being driven into the solutions as we move forward. Now, Just Ask, again, is a great solution. Just Ask was an acquisition that SAP had done, I can't remember how long ago, but it was a major investment. And, essentially to narrow it down, it allowed organizations to, using natural query language, to ask the solution to, who have very little experience, who perhaps don't have a lot of experience with analytical tools, but they can generate dashboards, generate reports, generate types of graphs that they can further use to analyze and look at information, really just by asking questions. Again, a very powerful tool. If there's anybody on the call that certainly in the future would like to have a deeper dive on Just Ask, just call us up. We'd be happy to get into more details with you and show you how users are using it today and how they're generating a lot of value. One of the use cases that I've worked with customers on is training situations where somebody is coming in new in the organization and the organization does use SAP Analytics Cloud. Just Ask can be a great upfront tool to get them started, to get them understand not only the data that they have, but also how to produce information, to do analysis against that data. Now, Joule, again, is quite a large category of tools, cockpits. I'm not going to get into an architectural review of Joule or how Joule has been used in S4 and SuccessFactors and so on. I'm going to try to focus a little bit more on Joule within the context of integrating with Business Data Cloud, SAC, DataSphere, and so on. But suffice to say, it is a very powerful set of tools and capabilities that you will continue to see new functionality being delivered against and on. So available today, again, when you take a look at availability of Joule within the entire SAC or SAP landscape, it's been integrated with SuccessFactors, S4HANA. There has been some SAP Analytics Cloud integration around analytic models. But certainly a very strong showing of how Joule has been very integrated into the SAP space. Now, moving forward, there are going to be new solutions that are going to be brought on board, excuse me, and certainly SAP Analytics Cloud being one of them around the whole entire budgeting and forecasting and planning space. In many ways, Joule will change really the entire life cycle of your planning process, or it can be in terms of taking advantage of. So it'll be informational, tell me how. So there'll be, conversational agents that I can ask questions of. But it'll also be navigational, show me where, right? So again, all the way through that planning life cycle. Transactional, do this task, enter data for this particular quarter based upon whatever value or based on whatever structure of how you want to do that data entry. So great ways to go ahead and enter in budget information and adjust that budget information to create versions that you can share and look at that help you drive your entire planning forecast. And of course, analytical, giving me insights, and many of these tools are already available today. So again, analytical insights for SAP users. It's native access to your data. It's existing role based upon data access controls. And the whole insight to action capability will be really powered by SAP Analytics Cloud and the Just Ask functionality that we spoke about. So again, just a little representation of how I can go ahead and interact with Joule and build out, again, questions, build out, how do you want to analyze? How do you want to enter data? And how do you want to manage your entire planning life cycle? Now, one thing that I will just represent here is that Just Ask has been out for quite some time. Now, Joule has very powerful natural query language capabilities, as does Databricks, as does others. How in the future Just Ask and Joule will be integrated, I'm not sure. But certainly, moving forward, all of the capabilities that I'm representing will be driven and will be available within SAP Analytics Cloud from a planning, forecasting, and budget lifecycle perspective. So again, just representing more capabilities that can drive. Again, it will affect the entire structure of your planning lifecycle. Show me as an analytical chart the sales commission in May for a particular time period. Again, being able to drive the vision of the dashboards, being able to look at the models involved in order to deliver that capability. All of these tools are going to be built in, and we'll be using Joule in order to improve the whole entire planning lifecycle. Again, I'm not going to get into too much more detail around Joule itself in terms of driving not just the analytical side of the AI space, but also being able to do data entry, being able to forecast, simulate drivers, and how that would impact the entire planning lifecycle will be changed and can be, will drive a tremendous amount of capability directly into your planning lifecycle. So again, from informational to navigational and transactional to analytical, these are all how Joule will revolutionize how users will interact with SAP Analytics Cloud and the entire planning lifecycle. So things like, how can I create a calculated dimension in a story, or open my sales story, or generate a script to toggle table visibility. These are things that you can script out today, but with Joule, being able to generate that script by just writing a very simple or speaking a very simple representation of what you want to achieve is going to change not only the end user's experience, but also the configuration and implementation process side of SAP Analytics Cloud as well. So again, some AI assisted features that we want to talk about a little bit more. Some have already been delivered in 2025. For example, I have spoken to the ability to, for in respect to data actions, the scripting involved in data actions, I can go ahead now and I can generate a script based upon my comments. And in reverse, I can also generate comments based upon my script. Now, I've written a lot of scripts in my day with respect to data actions. And one of the things that I never do enough of is document and comment on them enough. I can go back right now today and actually start documenting and making the scripting that I have a lot more robust in terms of what's there, how it works, so that others can support and manage, these particular processes as well. And not just within data actions, but also in advanced formula generations and so on, being able to generate, the calculations very, very easily. And also things like being able to use SAP Analytics Cloud in tools such as PowerPoint, being able to look at a chart within PowerPoint and then have the system automatically generate dialogue or generate information about that chart that can be used to, again, explain exactly what is contained in a given image. So these are all tools that are there. So whether it's chart summary, whether it's AI assisted commenting, whether it's AI assisted formula generation or calculation capabilities, these are all tools that are available now and can be used, and they are a very important part of the entire AI umbrella. I've talked about these individually, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with them right now. But again, overall, very powerful tools that will, again, change how not only the end users, but also the support staff will be using SAP Analytics Cloud as well. I'm just going to give a little demonstration here of capabilities, being able to drill through, look at particular charts, and then based upon how I'm selecting information, being able to drill into and look at any aspect of my life cycle or charts I've already produced to improve my planning life cycle. Compare time and version reports. Again, all of these tools are available, and we can, again, drill into more detail on them with you if that is certainly something you would like to drive further. Another thing, being able to use whatever languages might be that you might want to use is available, which is another important part of delivering Joule and being integrated with SAC across the entire life cycle. I believe we might have Derek Johnson on the phone today, and I see his name associated with some of this capability being represented right now, being able to generate comments, again, based upon the charting and the information that's there. Advanced formula generation, same idea. Again, I can go ahead and I can select, certainly large portions of script, and then based upon the selection of that script information, I can go ahead and generate the comments required for it. So here right now, we're going to see, being able to select, if I've got my, there we go. I'm going to select a piece of the script, and I'm going to generate comments. And again, the vice versa of that is also available, being able to go ahead and generate the scripts based upon the comments as well. A very powerful tool for certainly those in your organization that are, enhancing or keeping your system, driving the data action capabilities that are then used by end users. Very powerful tool, one that I'm already using myself quite a bit. Assisted chart summary, again, being able to, going ahead and generate comments based upon that charts, and as well as the same time being able to assist with the calculation generations in formulas, which are another way that calculations are added to your solution in general. So again, from a roadmap perspective, Q1, was release of Just Ask, and I know a lot of customers are using it quite heavily. Predictive planning, supporting the seamless planning integration between SAC and DataSphere was a big part of this. Just Ask, analytical insights, smart insight capabilities, and certainly a lot of the items I just represented there in terms of AI assisted commenting AI-assisted chart summary, advanced formulas and calculations. They have been released as well. Now, moving forward, the bigger part of this will be the generation of agents and the generation and the integration of SAP Analytics Cloud and Joule to really drive those analytical insights, the information and the transactional and scripting and DataSphere, for example. These are things that are coming beyond Q3. I don't have an exact time right now, but I've been hearing the bird whisper that certainly in the first part or the first quarter of Q1 2026, a lot of these agents and capabilities will be being released to you out there, and you'll be using them to engage and drive your planning life cycles. Now, with respect to SAP will create planning agents, but also SimpleFi will create planning agents. We're already working with SAP and with Databricks, and we're building out frameworks and tools now, for example, against our HR and our workforce planning capabilities. So being able to have an agent that interacts with Planify content to look at, what are the, can you tell me the differences between my supply and demand? Can you help drive my understanding of risks that we might have around our HR and human capital capabilities? So again, these are tools that SAP will deliver, but there's also tools that that SimpleFi and our Planify content will be delivering as well. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail here beyond this. I'm going to cover off a couple of things. One thing I would like to represent is that, again, and I've only represented a couple of pieces here, but Joule itself is really a collection of a lot of different capabilities. It's not just one thing. It is part of SAP Build. It will be a generative AI copilot embedded into SAP cloud applications. It will also be a combination of specialized agents within Joule that will automate and manage certain aspects of your planning lifecycle. Again, based upon whether it's finance, whether it's HR, whether it's CapEx, OpEx. Agents to do these different types of plannings will be different because they will be looking at different models and be trained towards different knowledge graphs within that structure as well. So again, I'm going to represent, the second half of 2025. SAP Build has been integrated with BDC from an SAC and a DataSphere perspective. There are some, with the changes in licensing structure that have come with BDC, there will be some licensing additions that will need to be added in your environments to take advantage of these tools. Whether, the whole capacity unit capability will change how you will use and potentially, engage these different capabilities in the within SAC. But again, if that's something you wanted to talk about further, we can certainly drill into the details on that. Again, AI agents, I think within SimpleFi, one of the things that, as we've been working with SAP now for a couple of years, and certainly the last year and a half on the on AI and how agents will be used, one of the things that we cautioned ourselves against was trying to develop specialized agents that were large, push button, do it all types of things. In reality, the data strategies that are out there today and the ones that we will go through, AI and building and scripting tools are evolving, whether that's with Joule, but also with Databricks and so on. Our belief is that we will build agents with, very refined use cases based upon our Planify content. So for example, in HR, again, predicting future headcount demand by role, running what if simulations for organizations or growth initiatives. These are all tools that we would be building out, again, on top of Joule or Databricks as we move forward. The reality is that the whole idea behind the use of AI in your business planning, budgeting and forecasting, is to move from a reactive to proactive finance. having faster insights, quicker decisions, few errors with trusted data and with trust in the numbers, and essentially more time for strategic analysis. I mean, we talk about just ask in the context of show me my revenue by quarter for this particular product for this particular region. A great tool to drive, insights and understanding what's there. But now change that or upgrade it to not only to why is my revenue, not only what is my revenue, but also why is my revenue like this, and what can I do to help address that revenue, again, within the context of the planning space you're talking about. So, again, my name is Jason Reed, and I hope I've given you some idea of what is happening in the AI space, what is happening around AI with respect to SAP, and what is happening and will be happening with AI within our ability to deliver content capabilities moving forward. This is a field that is still changing. And as I said when I started, I think in another 3 months when we come back to the table and do another one of these sessions, and we will have additional functionality and capability to represent to you at that point as well. I would say if there's any call to action right now is to look at what is your data strategy moving forward? How do I need to address trust in my data? How do I need to address integration to many different data sources and so on? That can be done at the same time as using many of these other tools. But that is a key part to this entire process. So I've taken about 45 minutes here, so I'm going to leave you with that and say I hope I gave you some insight. Please reach out if you have any more questions or would like clarity on something. And if there are things you would like to see, again, whether it's the commenting for charts or whether it's the calculation capabilities built in, happy to do that anytime at all if that's something you'd like to do. So Henner, back to you.
Thank you, Jason. This concludes today's webinar. If you have any questions, reach out to Jason or myself. We will be in touch after this webinar with all of you. So you have a fantastic rest of your day, and let's keep in touch. Thank you.